Yes, yes, yes. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. The end of the Premier League is tomorrow. And there's only one thing that's really worth talking about. A bit of relegation, but it is the top four fight. Man United, Chelsea, Leicester City essentially go head-to-head. Well, quite literally, Man United in Leicester's case, go head-to-head tomorrow to fight it out for the final two Champions League places. But the big question is, who's making it? Who is going to finish in the top four? Who is going to have the riches and glories of playing in Europeans' major tournament next season? And who's going to have to play Thursday nights in Lithuania on Channel 5 and Europa League and BT Sports B channel? That's what's up for grabs right now. There's loads that's going on. We're joined by an illustrious panel of guests. We're going to get them on the air now. We've got Lee Chappie. We've got Elite KJ. We've got Prime. And we've also, here he is as well. He's late, but there he is, Dave, who has the same cap on and jacket on every day. That must smell. Evening. How you all doing?
You didn't make that Europa League sound very, up for grabs, did you? I don't want that. I don't want that.
You don't want it, but that's what you're going to get handed, fam.
We'll see.
I find Europa League's a little bit like the League Cup. You don't really care at the beginning of the season whether you win it or not. If you're in the final, you care. And I think Europa League is one of them where if we get to the final, then for me, I go, big, I want this. Up until the final, I don't care about it. And I think Europa League feels like that's a lot of people. We'll start with Lee, because I know Lee has actually left a romantic dinner for two to come and do this show. So we'll let him speak first before he's got to shoot off and save his marriage. But essentially, how are you feeling for a 14-point gap gone? That's like winning the lottery and now being at the job center again.
Yeah, I think I already said this on the show, mate, which was everything seemed to be going really well for us until about Boxing Day when we got stuffed by Liverpool. And after that, I think it was just not only poor performances, but it was injury after injury, which has really affected us up until right now. I think we're about 5 key players out for tomorrow's game. There's no returns. Fuchs is even still out. Albrighton's still out. And then the main men, Maddison, Chilwell, Soyuncu, and our main man, I think, Ricardo Pereira. It's horrible. I want to get the season finished. I can't sleep. It's that bad.
How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how surprised would you be tomorrow if you get a positive result against Man United and finish in a Champions League position?
I'd be surprised, because not only have we like I say, we've got key men down, but we've also got history against us, which is we've only beat Man United twice in all competitions, and that seems to stick no matter what. It just seems to stick. We seem to lose against United no matter what. The last time we won, I think, was the 5-3, and I was there. It was a cracking result, but I can't see that happening tomorrow.
I'm just waiting for Prime to finish being noisy.
Sorry.
Prime is so noisy when he's on it. It's mad. I hear you on that. I'm never going to sleep on that. I've been thinking about it probably too. I just come off another podcast that I was recording with some guys, and my fear of Man United is, I think we'll do it tomorrow. My fear of not winning tomorrow is, can mentally Man United recover 2 seasons running after going on? Going on brilliant runs to put ourselves in touching distance of the Champions League, and then to fail at the final hurdle. We have the quality to finish in the top 4 positions. It's, do we have the bottle? Do we have the mental strength when it matters most to get ourselves over the line? And I think winning the game tomorrow, it completes the comeback. And I think it builds the mental strength that's needed. I think losing tomorrow's game and falling out, it actually could destroy everything Ollie's built. And I know that might sound like really melodramatic, and maybe I'm overthinking it today, but right now, this moment is how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I think it's going to cost Man United a lot of money as well, with the shirts as well, sponsors with Adidas, because I'm sure you've got some sort of deal where if you miss out 2 years in a row of Champions League football, you lose a lot of money from that deal. I've read that. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've read. I mean, with Leicester's side of it, when you look and we think, well, Champions League it's just the creme of the creme for us, No one's expecting us to reach Champions League from the very start of the season. Hell, no one was expecting us to win the Premier League when we did it. So to get into that top 6 was the target, and we've got there. I think if we do it tomorrow, it will make a massive statement around the world that the established elite big sides aren't just the boys to get into Europe.
I hear that. I mean, what could be interesting for Man United tomorrow, though, and I still don't want this because I want to finish the job, but we could lose to you and still make the Champions League. We're going to go to these Chelsea boys right now. Prime. I mean, we last night we had a Chelsea fan come on saying that, you know, it was doing you Chelsea fans no justice on the Man United podcast. How confident are you tomorrow, one, of getting a result against Wolves, and secondly, finalising a Champions League place and ending the season well?
I think we will beat Wolves so long as if we played at 3 at the back, we definitely will beat Wolves. But it's the thing, we have this thing this season of we play a 3 against a team and it works, and we continue it into the next game and it ends up not working, and then we stop playing it. Like we did against United, and we won. We went played the 3 against Liverpool. We lost, which was the wrong formation to play. And now we have to play Wolves. That is the right formation to play, and we're probably going to end up not playing it, and we might end up losing. Kepa, it seems from what I'm reading today that he's going to end up starting, which is a worry.
Mate, not for me. I read a stat about that. Right, 8% in 30 years. 8% of Chelsea's goals in the Premier League have been conceded by Kepa. That is 8%, bro. That's a madness. That the guy is the worst goalie in Premier. I mean, he makes Tahibi look good, bro.
Terry, if he concedes against Wolves tomorrow, he would have conceded the most goals in a single season for Chelsea. In Chelsea history, in a single season.
Yeah, terrible. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, from a rival fan point of view, I can pick what happens tomorrow. I want to win first and foremost. My second option is lose to Leicester, but then you get beat heavily by Wolves, and that you miss out. Like,
how is that your second option when we could draw with Leicester and they will still go in?
I didn't know we could draw. Okay, draw with them then. Like, no, here my thing why losing works, because losing would give Chelsea. Let's just say this. This is like football romance.
No.
70 minutes in, where like Chelsea are winning 1-0, Man United are winning 1-0. And then suddenly there's 2 quick goals from Leicester. Chelsea like, we're going to finish third. And then Wolves score 2 quick goals. Jimenez, bang. And then we get a little equaliser or something and draw the game. We all go through it. And Chelsea is sat there crying. You know, Lampard trying to put back the broken biscuit fingers of Kepa when you've lost the game. You know, I mean, it'd be beautiful. It'd be beautiful to see Chelsea miss out. The problem is, it's too big a risk of us missing out not to beat Leicester. So we're just going to have to, like always, we're just going to have to carry other Premier League teams on our back and help Chelsea out tomorrow, I think.
I got to ask you guys a question before I shoot. Is that all week so far in my chats and socials and stuff, all I've had so far is, I hope United lose, I hope Chelsea lose. But no one seems to hope Leicester lose. I don't know if you get. I don't know if you got that from you guys, but that's what I've got.
Yeah, no one wants. Everybody wants.
They want you to get top 4. They want
I want Leicester to lose.
No, yeah, what Lee said is right. Like for our rivals, if Leicester finish in the top 4, either Man United or Chelsea miss out. So they want you in because that means one of us is out, and only one of us can miss out with where we're at now. But Lee, go and enjoy your dinner, mate, and have a good evening.
Plenty of these goals coming in. Plenty of them tomorrow. Plenty of them.
Red. See you later on, mate. Take care.
See you later.
Top man. Bye-bye. Yeah, so a lot of people, I've had a few people go to me, Terry, how can you think that all of Ollie's work is going to fall away? You said that it wouldn't. And I don't mean that we'd suddenly become a bad team, but I said the same thing about Liverpool. And maybe I'm overthinking this. I just feel like it could destroy. And I don't mean we wouldn't play good football again next season. I just feel like it's another year we're going to have to go until we can have the bottle to win games. You saw what Aaron showed us yesterday, the stats, where every time Chelsea have dropped points before we play, we haven't capitalized. We have to get over that. And that's not about playing ability, because we clearly have won lots of games. It's about having the mental strength to do it at those moments. And tomorrow is another opportunity to do. And if we do it, by the way, I think we accelerate epic proportions. But David,
Terry, I can guarantee you. Sorry if I say it. I can guarantee you that stat is the same in the opposite direction for Chelsea. When you've lost a game and whatever, and for us to capitalize, we failed to do that as well. So we both have that stumbling block to get over.
Yeah, and those are the things for me which are really, I said the same thing about Liverpool and Tottenham in their final last year. For the majority of time under Poch and Klopp, respectively, they were both teams were nearly bridesmaids. And I said the team that wins this, I think, will elevate, and the team that loses might regress. And I remember, again, I got laughed at for that. But I've been thinking about it today, and although I'm confident in Ollie taking us forward, there are moments where you need to be successful. You have to do well in the transfer market. He has to win the game tomorrow, because if we lose or draw and Chelsea's result favours us and we still go through, I'll be happier in the Champions League, but I'll still feel like we didn't finish the job. We gained up on you and overtook you. We gained up massively on Leicester and overtook them. But to make top four, it's not about. I'm not like these Arsenal fans that are just happy to be in front of Tottenham no matter where they are in the league. I only want to catch you two because you're in Champions League. If Leicester and Chelsea were 14 points in front of us, but they were fifth and sixth, I wouldn't have cared. Like, for me, it's not about that. So if we don't finish the job tomorrow ourselves, I'm going to be disappointed. From your point of view, David, as a Chelsea fan, where's your head at today?
As long as Kante and Pulisic start, we'll win. Those are the two key people. Kante, because he protects the back four from doing whatever they think is a smart idea, and Pulisic because he runs at the defense and makes sure the attack actually do something. Because without him, he's just like it's not great. I do hope Hudson-Odoi starts ahead of Willian, because I think Willian's looking a bit tired. And I think Hudson-Odoi starting off and then bring Willian on for that experience towards the end of the game could be beneficial.
Hudson-Odoi, I forgot. Did he play for you still? I forgot he was there, bro. He's been so much.
He nearly dribbled past your whole defence and scored at the end of the FA Cup semi-final. So
but nearly is nothing.
Yeah, but it was close.
We nearly beat West Ham 3 or 4-0 the other day, but their goalie, right? The same mate. I mean, we nearly beat them though. It don't count, bro. If you don't do it, it don't count. You know what I mean?
Terry, question about the run of form United had and everything. If Chelsea, both Chelsea and Leicester weren't dropping points during that period, and we continued the form or continued to maintain the standard, and you guys were still on that run of form, how would you be feeling about United? Would it be different?
No, I'd still be happy. I think that because we would have seen a turnaround from us, we'd still be sort of top of the form table. We would still be doing what we're doing. But I feel like the reason that, especially with Leicester, that they started to capitulate more is they could see people coming. And I said this about, again, I'll keep the same energy. When Liverpool eventually wore City down and overtook them this season, it was because of the relentlessness of not last year as well. It's that continual, they're still on our shoulder. And I think you weighing people down. You see it in boxing. If you're a fighter that keeps coming forward, even if you're fighting, you can be the more skilled boxer. But I've hit him with everything I've got, and he's still coming at me. That's what Man United have helped make Chelsea and Leicester respectively drop points by what we've done. But if we'd have just done it and you guys would remain true, I'd still be positive with our progression. What do you think, KJ?
Yeah, like we went from losing to all these teams in the December and the earlier half of the season, 1-0 Bournemouth, 2-0 Burnley, 2-0 West Ham. We went from that to beating those teams and beating them comfortably, and then also performing in the big game. So I would have been like, you know what? I didn't expect the greatest season, especially with Pogba out for such a long time. So the fact that we made a comeback, the fact that we're fighting, the fact we're linked to better players, the fact that we are signing Bruno Fernandes, it would be a positive thing. And the 5th or the 6th or wherever we would have finished would have had some positivity behind it and not just doom and gloom. So yeah, it would have been fun.
Would it have been would it have been the same as last season where you had a great run of form with Ollie, or would it be that United are back to getting where they're supposed to be or they're used to being?
So go on, KJ.
Yeah, I think it's more of a progression, more of a back. We're going back somewhere, because the thing about that run with Ollie, there was still the dressing room unrest that you heard in the press. You still heard Lukaku was a bit miserable. You heard Matic wasn't having a good time. Herrera's contract, De Gea. So there's all these things still going on, whereas you don't really hear that now this time around. And it does feel like something inside United is genuinely changing. Even the way we're scouting targets and the people we're going after, it's not just scattergun. It's actually, you can kind of see the profile of player that we're going for. So last season was great. The run was great. The upsetting thing wasn't able to get over the line. But this season's more about progression. It's actually, you can see progression, so you can't be anything but happy.
And I think what I'd add to that is just, I can't remember a time at an elite level club where a manager started well, and had this 4 or 5 month period. Forget the end of the off season, because I'm talking footballing months, of being average and poor, linked with being sacked. Allegri was supposedly interviewed back in November, and then for him to turn it around and keep the dressing room. So for him to go through that turmoil and then come back tells you the first bounce was new manager bounce. There's no doubt about that now. And it took him time to rebuild and regroup this team and get us on track. And sometimes I think what Ollie's hindered by is how well we started. And then you had the middle. If he'd have come in and we would have just gradually progressed like we have done to this point, there'd be more praise. But it's because he started off so well and everyone's like, we're going to be here. And a lot of United fans got gassed. Like Rance openly admits this. He's a prime example because he's a very famous Man United fan. He got suckered in by it. He went out with if Ollie was here from the start of the season, we'd be challenging for the league type conversations. Then when he actually saw it go a little bit wrong, or maybe actually go how it should have gone from the beginning, there was that element of, shit, I fucked myself by going out here and saying how good we are. I'm now going to double down on he ain't really good enough. And I then fell into that as well, because you start watching and we've been finessed links. But actually, hindsight's lucrative. We now look back and go, yeah, there was just a bounce because of everything that was going on. Ollie's had to clear out so much dead wood. He's had to clear out the actual viruses. He's had to get the club to completely reconstruct how they scout, how they buy, who makes the decisions. So everything has to be rebuilt. And for him doing that now, I'm happy regardless of where we finish in terms of progression. But of course, I'll be happier with Champions League football because, as Lee Chapman said, it keeps our sponsorship money coming in. There's TV money coming in, and that enables us to keep buying better players. There's far more chance of us making the 4 signings we need this summer if we make the Champions League than if we don't. Biggest reason being, we have budgeted for no Champions League. The club will have got a budget with and without Champions League football. So if you get the better budget, you're in a much better position. Sancho is already cast iron for me, but it will cement it even further. The cement around the cast iron. And then I think you can go after a top midfielder. And then you could then go and sign Van der Beek and Grealish collectively with what they're going to cost you, especially if Villa go down tomorrow, which I hope they do, because we can get Grealish. I know you care about Villa. I have one thing I care about in the Premier League. It's Man United. I couldn't care less about the only team in the Premier League I would never want to see relegated is Liverpool. That's because the rivalry is so strong. The yin and yang have to exist together at the same time. It's a bit like Scottish football was already on its way out. What killed Scottish football was Rangers being kicked out the top flight. And although Celtic probably from a fans level celebrated it, trust me, at board level, once it happened, they're probably gone, what have we done? We've actually got rid of the only game that makes us any money as a damn country of football. Trust me, you get rid of Man United and Liverpool, you kill the Premier League. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. No offense to Chelsea, but you guys just don't compete with us. You guys don't compete with us on a global scale. You just don't, bro. It's honestly, we've got more fans in Chelsea than you have. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, people say that as a joke, but like, you're supposed to. You're this global brand and everything. You're supposed to.
Exactly. There's no shade. It's just what
it's true.
You know what I find funny sometimes when fans complain about other fans of their club not being from where they're from. And I'm like, but wait, you want your team to be the best? Yeah. You want to be the greatest team in the world? Yes. Well, to do that, you need fans of the club from other places than where you're from. Otherwise, your fan base, your revenues won't grow. So it's just a nonsense argument. I find it so strange. If you've got an issue with people who support your team and they're not from Chelsea, not from Manchester or wherever, that's a you issue, and you need to fix that, fam. That's all I'm saying.
I was going to say on that. So the only way you make it, you support your local team or the team that's the nearest city to you, is if you did what the NBA and the NFL is, where there's almost a level of there's like salary caps, spending caps, and a draft system where it's fair. You can't essentially the Premier League and football in Europe is an open market where you might have Man United that they're the best team for 20 years because they've got the best manager, but all it would take is for somebody who's a billionaire to go and buy Berry, and in 10 years they could be better than Man United if you don't have fans from outside of Manchester, because you wouldn't be able to financially compete. So the reason why the Man Uniteds and Liverpools are so massive is because of that. And by the way, if Chelsea got purchased when financial fair play was a thing, I don't think you'd be where you are now. Even with Man City, if they weren't able to spend like they did in the beginning, it would take you 20, 30 years to catch up with these teams. That's how far people are behind. So if you're a big club and you moan that you've got all these fans from London and Singapore and Amsterdam. Well, without us, you wouldn't be the superpowers that you are in our game. Comment here from Paul says David should not be confident to beat Wolves. Only Liverpool have lost less games than us all season. Underestimating us isn't clever. Paul is calling you out there, bro. What's your response?
I'm not underestimating you. I just think we have a better squad. I think Kante and Pulisic are those players that can just cause a massive difference. And also, you may have very few losses, but one of those losses was against us when we beat you 5-2. So,
and didn't Tammy score a hat trick in that game?
Yeah, but that was in his purple patch. Like we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it compares.
It's still Bambi Abraham, so that's my point.
Yeah,
that's funny. That's actually true, though.
It's true, and I understand. One thing I do say to people is, I think there's an element of me where I have in my time supported my local team, like lower down the echelons, if that makes sense, non-league teams, lower level teams, and whatever. Like I sort of feel like something that the Premier League could do as money continues to improve to help is say to a lot of their, not all, but it depends on how much you need. But there's an element of, do you know what? I'm maybe not going to drop 600. Do you need £600 off of all of your season ticket holders? What if those guys went and bought a little season ticket for the non-league team down the road, and games where they weren't going to Man United because they couldn't get an away ticket, they went and supported there? There's elements you can do to support your local team, but you fall in love with who you fall in love with. And it's as simple as that for me. You know, my dad told me you can pick any team you want, and I just picked Man United. I was 5. Do you really think I had any inclination at 5 years old how good Man United were or they were not? Like, it's a madness. Do you know what I'm saying? And you pick who's successful, and you do pick who's successful at the time, because they're being spoken about a lot. Like, I guarantee you, we'll notice this probably in another 3 or 4 years. You'll suddenly start to see more Spurs fans than we used to see, because when they had that 5-year hot streak where they were playing well, winning lots of games, people are attracted to that. Liverpool now are going to get a whole new influx of fans. You know, most Liverpool fans I know, in fairness, up until recently, are all like my age and older, like in London. Now, so I'm seeing all these younger ones coming through. Why? Because they're playing good football. It's as simple as that. And yeah, I'm not about that. And for me, if I'm a glory hunter, cool.
So be it, baby.
Cool.
Sorry, someone here said no limits. Slit says, let me go back to. He says that I'm hating on Tammy, basically. Well, no, I'm not. I'm just making some jokes. Like, I don't see what's wrong in doing that. And I don't hate on Tammy. I've never vilified him or said anything against his personality or his family or anything. It's just on, like, footballing ability. I hope he makes it at Chelsea. I do, but in this moment in time, do I see him as a starting striker for Chelsea? No, I don't.
I see him a star for.
He did say Danny Welbeck was better than him. I think that's pretty bad.
I didn't say that. I agree
that one's true, though. So that one is true.
For the banter, it's funny, but no, seriously, for Tammy, like if he does end up making it at Chelsea and becomes first choice, like, I hope he does. That would be amazing. But in this moment in time, I personally don't see it. But if I'm proven wrong, I'm proven wrong. That only makes Chelsea stronger. So,
yeah, I think hating on someone is, again, there's a difference between having an opinion and having I had it out with a Chelsea fan yesterday on socials, because a few weeks back, Anita put a tweet out asking where your new attacking signings would start. And I said Werner in the middle, Pulisic left, Ziyech right, Havertz centrally. And he got real angry. Terry don't watch. Basically, his responses were along the lines of, Terry don't watch us. He's got this agenda. Like, that isn't what's going to happen. Like, Werner will play left. And all I said is, in my actual response, it was like, I don't have an agenda, but Werner has played 90% of his games as a central striker starting position. In the same tweet, I said, but will undoubtedly out to the left, and it's about the fluidity that's going to be needed, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to look really good for Chelsea. He then went on a tyrant rant moaning about it, right? And then yesterday on a Chelsea podcast, Alex Goldbridge, you had that Christian Fawkes come out and say that he's probably going to start centrally for Chelsea, Werner. First of all, I was a bit triggered. I'm like, how did Chelsea fans need a journalist to tell you that Timo Werner, who's a central forward, is going to start centrally? Weird. But then this same guy, like, agreed with what was being said in his podcast. Yeah, I can see that happening, really. So Neeks called him out and said, hang on, but you had a right attack at Terry. He didn't come out and go, no, I attacked Terry because he come out with some irrelevant stat. Because you did later on in the thread say that gave a bit of a tactical breakdown. And I'm going, brother, it was in the same damn tweet. I explained like 2 reasons why. But it's just what it comes down to. Some Chelsea fans, they're so desperate for an academy player to make it. Is the point I'm alluding to. They're so desperate for an academy player to make it, even though they could already, like the Tammy thing. Tammy's already been dropped.
Yeah,
Tammy's already been dropped for Olivier Giroud. So he's if it stays like it is now, he could be third choice next season. And that isn't because Tammy's a bad player. He just isn't good enough to make you Premier League champions again. And we all know with Lampard, and I'm not convinced that Lampard's going to be given 3 or 4 years like Klopp was to make them champions. I think he has got next season, he has to come first, second, or third and be miles better than this season. And then the year after that is or nothing. If you come 5th next season, Lampard's done.
Nah, actually, no. I
don't think he is.
I actually believe that Chelsea are doing this whole give a new manager time thing. I believe it. I don't know. The vibes of Chelsea right now ain't really showing that same ruthlessness as before, but I might be proven wrong next season.
KJ, I'd love to believe that because that's what all Chelsea fans are saying. But the same thing was said about Jose when he came back, and the same thing was said about Conte. Same thing was said about Sarri. So
Sarri was the big one it was said about, but it was said about Villas-Boas. It was said about Solari because every time we've gone for like a more attacking, every time it's come in, the same rhetoric's been pushed. And some of these kids that are like 25 years old that are telling me, no, you're wrong. It's like, bruv, when these things have been happening before, you were sucking your mum's tit, bruv. Like you got no idea. Like breastfeeding, I mean, nothing sexual. Like you were too young to remember. Like you were eating rusk, brother. Like don't chat to me. I saw this happening, and it's the same rhetoric. What's being happened is, and I agree with you, Prime. Right now, I feel like there's an element of gaslighting to it. We're being told it's changed, but there's no proof that it has. And I say that because there's 2 things together that we were told were changing. A manager's going to be given a chance to change our philosophy. 1. Second was youth is going to be given a chance. And I'm like, well, youth's been given a chance because of the transfer ban. Let's see how much youth is in this team by the end of, I don't care the first 5 starts of the season. I'm talking by the end of next season. And we're going to do a little screen. I'm going to screenshot it tomorrow. How many minutes your academy players have played in Premier League and Champions League. And then we're going to compare it to next year. And if it's the same or more, I will hold my hands up and go, I got that wrong. Respect to Chelsea. And then the same again. If Lampard doesn't finish where he needs to next year and they keep him on, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. But I've got a feeling that a lot of your players are going to see a lot less minutes. And even with Reece James, who I think is the best of your talented boys, if he has an average season next year, you'll buy right back. It's just, and until Chelsea prove it to me, it's going to take 2 or 3 years for them to prove it that they've moved on. I'm not going to buy into the same notion that's been pumped into our ears all the time. That we're about the youth. You probably have the best youth academy at youth level in the country, but your development of academy players is mad. You look at Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek's going the same way as Lingard. Now, I think he's more talented than Lingard, but people keep talking about him like he's young still.
24,
25. He's 25.
Man's
he's a man.
He's halfway through. As soon as the person's frontal lobe is fully formed, they can't be called a kid. Like they're there. Once you hit 25, you're do you know what I mean? It's true. It's mad. We did it to Lingard at Man United for years, and I got dragged into it because he looked like a little boy, like a little man-child thing.
Yeah.
You know, it'll come good soon. It's like, bruv, he's 48. What do you mean come good soon? and lots of people turn 30, and you'll all be like, what? How'd that happen?
To be fair to him, last season when he was playing under Sarri before the injury, he was like our best player besides Hazard. Then the injury happened, and now he's slowly coming back. So hopefully the start of next season is when you'll start to see Loftus-Cheek back to full fitness.
And he's talented. Don't get me wrong. Loftus-Cheek is talented. I'm not slagging the guy off. I just feel like if he'd have left and gone somewhere that develops youth, and I'm just going to throw names at Southampton, he'd be a better player right now. Now, I know he's had injuries. You can't legislate for that. But Chelsea is a graveyard for young talent, in my opinion. You know, you think about all the young players that have come to your club that weren't already established, that weren't already like stars that the world was talking about, that had clubs fighting over their signatures. I'm thinking of Hazard there specifically. Most youngsters that come to your club or come through your academy haven't made it. The vast majority. And even when I say made it, I'm talking, where are they now? You know, Ake had to go elsewhere. By the way, Chelsea fans said the same thing about Ake. Is it Ampadu? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, Ethan Ampadu, yeah.
All these players were getting gassed up like your current crop are. And I'm not saying none of them are talented. I'm saying Chelsea isn't the place for them, in my opinion. But if I'm proven wrong, there we go. Paul here says, you beat us when we were jet-lagged in the Europa League playoff. Man City have a better squad than you, and we beat them twice. You've been shut. Go on.
You really don't like the idea. I'm saying I'm not going to deny you're a good team because literally, if you had got one more draw, you'd have a chance of finishing top 4 tomorrow, but you didn't. All I'm saying is, right, I think we have a good enough squad to at least get a point from tomorrow, which is all we need. I think we'll win the game, but I think we'll get our minimum because I think we are just better than you. I don't know how else to tell you. I just think we are better than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone here says Loftus-Cheek has made it. For me,
No, really.
Made it where?
Yeah, for me, I look at making it as it's a hard one. Like he's there. He's played like 80 games for Chelsea, which is pretty good for an academy player. And 52 of them have been in the Premier League. So he's been given opportunities in them. And I'm not saying he's not a bad player, but he's 24 coming 25 now. When you're 24, 25, for me, you've got to, I know he's had injuries and he's got to come back from that. If by next season he's not a regular in your first team, I feel like you've got to look to move because he's too talented to sit there and be fringe. Now, if he's a fringe player, then cool. But I know what Chelsea fans are after. Chelsea want the new John Terrys, the same as the Man United want the new Giggses. It's great. Like, do you get where I'm coming from? Like,
yeah,
I would, we had like that,
Well, example right now is Axel Tuanzebe. We would love him to come in and develop and become good. But right now, his injuries are letting him down. He's not getting nothing of game time when he's fit anyway. So as much as we love Axel and want him to do well, at some point you've got to admit, he's just not going to make it, and that's fine.
Yeah, I also feel like as well, it's about who you're linked with. So, like the position that he plays in, you're always linked with players that are in. So, what is his best position? A central midfielder, an 8? What is his best position?
Basically a centre mid. That's probably his best.
An 8, so he's like an 8.
Yeah, kind of like a box to box type of 8.
Yeah, box to box.
So this is where I get confused because obviously you've got Kovacic that he's there for now. You've obviously got Kante playing that middle as an example. If you've got Kai Havertz in, you're only going to play with 2 midfielders as a general rule. I don't think you're going to play with 2 8s on a regular basis.
Actually, something about Kai Havertz came out yesterday, or I think it was today, that his best position apparently is. He came out and said it that he likes playing as a number 8 down that right hand side.
And that's cool. He primarily attacks and stays forward. So it depends on your interpretation of an 8. I think of an 8 as more of a box to box role, as an example, and maybe he can do that. So again, that's fine. If Kovacic is an 8, sorry, if Havertz is an 8, I'm cool with that, bruv. I'm fine with that. But at the same time, people keep telling me that Mason Mount's going to play as an 8 a lot. You can't have Mason Mount playing regularly as an 8. Havertz regularly as an 8, and Loftus-Cheek regularly is an 8 because mathematically it doesn't work, and because you're not dropping Kante. And this isn't about salt; it's about waking up and smelling the coffee. You can't regularly play all of them. You can rotate them, but my point is that for me isn't making it. When you make it as a player, you've done what John Terry weren't rotated. Drogba was only rested on occasions. You know what I mean, when your players are fit, if you're a first teamer and you're an established guy and you've made it there, you're starting 80-90% of games. You're not the backup dancer, and that's my point. I'm not, and people keep telling me next season Loftus-Cheek and Mason Mount are going to play regularly. Yeah, I can't see how you do that with Kovacic and with Kai Havertz coming in. Makes no sense.
Here's the thing, like the players that you mentioned, like Drogba, Lampard, and people like that. People act as if Lampard didn't have the likes of Ballack and Deco and Essien in the squad pushing him. Like, you also do need quality players around you to push you and to make you step up that level. And if that happens to Mount, then great.
And absolutely. And if those guys push those boys out the team and get opportunities, that's fine. If they were at that, I don't know. For me, I just feel like they're going to get given opportunities. You're going after severely high quality talent. Someone here says, Terry, but there's over 69 games in a season. Is there 69 games in a season?
It depends how far you make it, the different competitions and stuff.
I think that's like with every competition that you could be in. That potentially could be that.
And I do get that point, and I understand it. But again, my challenge to it is Loftus-Cheek is better, and this is where people take it as an insult. But I'm praising Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek is too talented
to be a benchman.
To be getting the majority of his game time in dead rubber Champions League games and FA Cup and League Cup games.
To be fair, there is the 5 subs.
Yes, there's 5 subs. That's true, but and that might help. That might actually help. So that actually has to be taken into consideration. The 5 sub rule. There is more opportunity for people next year than what there is now. That is very, very true. So maybe that's why teams will keep slightly bigger squads. But as I say, when you look at your academy players now at Chelsea, when I think about them, and I think of Gilmore, James, Loftus-Cheek, Mount, Amu, who?
Ampadu, Ethan. He went to Leipzig. He's come back.
Yeah,
people now. Okay,
he's still in our club. Yeah,
Ampadu and then Hudson-Odoi. I look at that. In 18 months to 2 years, half of them will be gone. In my opinion.
Yeah.
So
often, to be fair though, when we sell our youth players, they turn out to not actually be good enough. The only the big exceptions obviously are De Bruyne, Salah, and Lukaku. Those are the big exceptions.
But Lukaku's all three of them were
youth, really.
Yeah, about to say all three of them were bought in. They were bought in young, but they were bought in. There's not really been a Chelsea through lads that's come through the academy in recent years.
I guess you could say Nake, like being linked to Man City and Man United, so because he's the only one that's a standout.
But if he went to those teams, would he be the guy? I'm not too sure. He might be a squad guy. Like even with United, when we sell our youth players, the only one that stands out is Paul Pogba.
What I would say about it, again, this isn't even salt. This is Loftus-Cheek and Mason Mount might end up becoming John O'Shea and Darren Fletcher. Now, if that's what everyone's cool, but the people look at Fletcher and O'Shea in the same way they look at Gary Neville, David Beckham, Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes. That's what I'm talking. What you want as Chelsea fans, surely, is academy players that go on to emulate what John Terry has done in terms of consistent high-level quality. I want that. Now, I look, Greenwood and Rashford have got all the ability in the world because Pogba's also one of our academy players. Those three, if they go on to achieve brilliant things, they could dine at the same table as those guys, and that's what you want. Why would you not want them to be that good? That's what my point is. But I think often people get very emotional about it because they rate these young kids. But as I said before, until I see consistently these youngsters playing in a Chelsea team for a 3 or 4 year period, I'm not going to believe that Chelsea will change their ways until I see it. It's as simple as that for me. Comment here again. Sorry, it says Nuno hasn't lost in London since we came back to the Premier League. So you will make history tomorrow if you beat us. Anyway, David, I have no problem with you. Good luck tomorrow.
Oh, nice guy.
Paul, may I ask you? You said you haven't lost in London. How many games have you won in London?
I was going to say there's always a first time for everything. So, just think about it. Like every time Nuno goes to London, he's one game closer to losing in London. So it's true. So he could lose tomorrow.
That is true, but there's no conviction in what you're saying, bro.
No,
I actually want to ask you to act. Wait. Yeah, I actually want to ask you two. What actually do you feel about Wolves? Because I know they're not a slouch. Yeah, they're not a slouch team. Let's get that out there. They're not a slouch team. They're a very good team. So going tomorrow's game, what do you guys fear the most from them?
Traore.
No, this is my thing with the Traore, right? Is that it depends. I think he plays right wing, right?
Right wing, yeah.
Okay. If he's playing right wing, one of the best defenders when it comes to being on the ground is Azpilicueta in the whole league. That he rarely ever gets beaten on the ground. It's mainly he gets beaten in the air. So Adama he's a threat. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not as scared as when I see him against other fullbacks. If we play a three, Aspie will play right centre back. If Tomori plays as the left sided centre back, then I'm not worried at all. But if it's Rudiger, then it's a problem.
Yeah, do you know what? I think Jimenez is the guy you got to worry about.
I was going to say Jimenez.
He's good, but I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced by him. We've got a question here, Terry. Which owner would you want, Abramovich or the Glazers?
Big man Abramovich fan every day.
No, I wouldn't pick Abramovich. Again, this is a preference thing. He's done brilliantly well, but the way Chelsea have operated, Man United have fallen from grace. When we tried to act like Chelsea, spending big money and sacking managers when it wasn't working. We had no foundation, no growth. Chelsea got away. If you look at Chelsea's success in a pattern, the second half of his ownership hasn't been as successful as the first half. Why is that? Because financial fair play came in, and then clubs started spending big money at the same time. This kind of switching managers. That's the one reason why I think they might try and change, but it's a leopard trying to change their spots. This kind of sack a manager as soon as he had one bad season. I don't. You can't be as fruitful now as you once were because City are here, and City have done it different to Chelsea, where they've built. It feels like City have built something. Sorry, Man City have built something in a different way that Chelsea did. So I don't like the Glazers, by the way, but the way we're going back to trying to run our club is how I want it to be done. You know, there are a lot of things about City that I've disliked, but the way they've built the club, the way their club runs as a football club, I think is excellent. So for me, if I was honestly going to pick over the time that they've owned our club versus him, I would pick the Glazers. But that's like
that's like picking Hillary or Trump.
Yeah, it's like I'm saying that with bated breath. Yeah, for me, that's why I would.
KJ, who's who?
Nah, the Glazers are Hillary and Abramovich is Trump. It has to be those two, fam.
I mean, the Leicester are two evils.
The reason why I say Abramovich is because I'm thinking about what the Glazers do. I can't forgive the forgivers what they're doing to our club in terms of like just sucking it dry, fam. And I just think that I think in my head I'm like, if United's values with Abramovich, Big Daddy money, put them together, and it's a beautiful, beautiful love child of Manchester United, isn't it? But yeah, man, like both of them are just owners that are questionable, man. They're questionable owners, both of them.
Yeah, but think about Man United. As big as they are as a brand and stuff, with the spending power of Roman Abramovich.
That's what I'm saying.
But do you not think that? Yeah, I know how he's done it at Chelsea and stuff, and sacking managers too early. But do you not think with Man United's history and decorum, especially under Sir Alex, do you not think that would have been different? Because I doubt he'd sack Fergie after like 2 or 3 bad seasons.
But we don't know. That's the thing. You're now creating a new Roman, and we can only judge it on. I mean, you'd love that. What I would love is for the club to be run as well as it was under Gil and Fergie, which is what they're trying to get back to, but with somebody that's willing to spend money like Abramovich and his own money. Because there was a stat I saw the other day of like money invested by your own owners, and you guys, I mean, you're actually £1.4 billion in debt to Roman's sister company. I've always wanted to see what would happen if one day his kids, like something happens to Roman, his kids go, "Yo, give us
our money back."
It's going to be like Wonga turning up with the bailiffs. Like, boy, the stadium belongs to us. We're turning it into a garden centre.
Or just go smashing all the trophy cabinets, taking the Champions League, the Premier League trophies and that.
Chelsea Football Club featuring on, you know, those like TV shows where you get the debt collectors with the cameras set up at your door. That's going to be Chelsea. I'd love an owner that would pump money into it. But Chelsea got it at the right time because, you know, financial fair play and everything else came in. You just wouldn't be able to. It's why Newcastle at the minute, they must be sitting there going, please relax financial fair play or collapse it altogether, because it will enable them just to spend whatever they want. And that is hard for everybody else. And then Chelsea can do the same again. You might actually see if they get rid of FFP, massive changes. And even then, though, that could end up forcing the Glazers to sell, because then there's a case of if we can't compete and those 3 teams go in front of us, the riches will stop, the value of the club will stop. And that's the only time the Glazers will sell is when they see the valuation start to diminish. There's no doubt about that. What are you laughing at, KJ?
Patrick, is it?
Yeah,
Patrick, I can't pronounce the last name, sorry. But you're one of the goats with Lucy Gelber. If you two crack me up in the comments every time, fam.
Comment here says, so you're okay with the Glazers taking money out? No, I said I'm not okay. Do you know like how people try and polarize everything? I didn't say I was okay with it. You've asked me to pick between 2, and I gave you my reasons. There's loads wrong with the Glazers. I don't want the Glazers owning my club, but you gave me 2 bad choices. Do you know what I mean? It's like if we say, who would you rather run your country? You'd say like Hitler or Mao. It's like, it's not really a good choice, is it? Like they're both evil stuff, but and then having a go at me for picking one, it's like, it's not a real choice. Neither. If I answer neither, you'd say I'm sitting on the fence. But yeah, there we go.
Imagine a top 3 in the league of Newcastle, City, and Chelsea. People would get so angry. People would get so angry.
It would make me feel ill, fam.
It'd be incredible.
Nah.
I wouldn't mind as long as Chelsea's
No, I think people would back Newcastle because of the history. And
yeah, of course.
Everything that happened with Mike Ashley, they feel like they deserve it in a way.
Of course. If you had to pick one out of those 3 to become the next superpower of football, man, say Newcastle. I lived up north for like 4 years, so I've been there, know some of their people. They're good people, so I would love to see them get some joy. The Geordies winning the league. Oi, it would be a madness up there. I might have to go back up there for a little party and that. You know what I'm saying?
You're a really weird Man United fan. I can't think of anything worse. Weird. Like you're one of these people that you wear shirts of other football clubs. It clouds your brain. Polar, like literally tribal. Everyone else is scum. Everyone. No, none of this. Honestly.
I let my personal attachments. Get to me, man.
Everyone calls me a fraud Chelsea fan, a fake Chelsea fan, that I'm a Man United fan. But KJ can talk about how he loves Aston Villa and it's fine.
One, I never said I loved Aston Villa. I just said I would hope they do well, fam. And two, when it comes to backing my team, I do my test. You there,
I do back my team.
So a comment earlier about you, Prime, and they called you Fortimus Prime.
Yeah, there was another one that's
quite a few days. Yeah,
there's one that said he definitely buys half and half scarves.
I would never buy a half and half scarf. Never buy a half and half scarf. I never said I wanted them to win the league. I said if I had to pick one of those three clubs that we just mentioned, it would be Liverpool.
You're going to
get Newcastle.
Bruv. That's wrong. Danny here, Devil and Dia says United would have a transfer budget of 200 million every summer under Roman. No debt would take United to financial levels that would make a rival sick. And listen, I get that. So the money that Roman Abramovich would spend, I would want. My problem is, and I'm thinking peak Chelsea times, if I had a manager that won a double and then we sacked him a year later, that is what I wouldn't want, because I feel like you can build. Chelsea, for me, have been so trigger happy with sacking some of their successful managers in the early days. You could have gone on and had a proper dominant decade. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like the way you treated Jose first time round, although United became good again, I feel like you opened the door for us to, there's already a gap. We're pushing our way through, and then getting rid of Jose opened. And then it took a couple more managers for you guys to find your feet again. And then you started looking good under Ancelotti, won at double. And then the next season weren't quite as good. It's like, let him stay. No, he's gone.
He finished second. He got sacked.
Yeah. Now that for me is not worse than having debt, but I'm picking. It's a little bit like I'm picking the devil I know. It's a bit like when the Brexit vote was here. I was like, I'm going to vote EU to stay in. Why? All these reasons why I shouldn't. It's like I get there's loads of problems, but I prefer the devil that I know than the devil that I don't. And I'd be more gutted doing. I don't know. Right now we ain't winning leagues. You guys have won 2 around it, but yeah. But my real answer is neither. To be honest with you. But like, I would like Man City's owners. I'm not saying they always behave legally, but the way they run their club, what they do for their local community, it's pretty good. I know people don't like them because of where the money's from and all that sort of stuff, but we don't need to get into the political side of it.
Do you see do more for Manchester than United do?
Sorry?
As in the community?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I don't think so. Man United do a lot of work. But
it seems like they get more praise.
Well, what they've done is they built up a lot of stuff that United didn't need to build. So obviously so there's been a lot of like renovation. Their owners have invested a lot of money in other projects as well outside of that. But again, it depends who you are. Some people look at that as like sport washing, and they think it's just like trying to get browning points. Danny also says that United have a culture that Roman would respect. We're a historic institution, Chelsea are not. Bro, I get that train of thought. My problem is I wouldn't be prepared to. Again, we've already had one lot come in here and destroy us a little bit. I just I sort of sit there. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I would want him there. But yeah, each to their own. We're done on that point now. But listen, boys, what are your predictions for tomorrow? Prime, what are you saying?
Both games.
Both games.
Yeah, both games.
3-1 Chelsea. 3-1 United.
I like that.
I can see Vardy scoring, but they don't have much else in terms of firepower because of the injuries and stuff. So yeah.
David, what are you saying?
4-2 Chelsea. I'm getting rid of the threes. I'm getting rid of the threes. 4-2
You're holding 3 at some point. You're holding 3 again. I'm telling you.
And 2-1 Leicester.
Okay.
So that you're saying Man United are not going to make the top 4?
I'm saying Man United are not going to make the top 4.
You're doing that to be controversial, but it's okay.
KJ, what are you saying, bro?
I reckon it'll be tight with United Leicester. I reckon 2-0 United. I can't see them scoring, but I can't see us scoring many. And then I can see Wolves doing a scrappy 1-0, you know, like they'll do it. I can see them doing it, bro.
Yeah, I'm going with 1-1 Chelsea Wolves, and I'm going with 2-1 Man United in our game. But it's going to be an up and down afternoon. You boys, make sure you're on the live show afterwards. Make sure everyone's tuning in. We've got some new emojis tonight, by the way, everyone. We've added a couple of new emojis. We thought it'd be nice to everyone. So there's a new Paul Pogba emoji. We got rid of the dab. I might have to load now so I can show it. Just a picture of his head and his haircut, which is pretty good. We've also added one of Frank Lampard as well. There you go, Chelsea fans. One extra for you. If you want to become a member, just click the join button right now. If you can't see the join button, what I'll just do real quickly is I'll share the link to my membership page. So you can go and sign up. Thank you to all the new people that have done that for us today. That is great and amazing. I'm just going to type
one saving grace that United have is the Europa League. I'm not saying the Europa League is easy to win and we're just going to steamroll it if we go in there. But at least we've got the opportunity to get back in the Champions League through that. If Chelsea don't make the Champions League this season or through the league, like that's it for you guys.
We know what to say.
Yeah, no, it'd be unfortunate, but I wouldn't be annoyed. Like, if someone came to me at the start of the season, right? I know Prime's going to be like, yeah, I predicted us to come top 4. I didn't. Okay, I thought genuinely there was a good chance we're coming 6th or 7th. So if we got 5th and an FA Cup, I'll take it. It'd be annoying because we were there, but I wouldn't be too disappointed about it.
I get that. The reason I want to make top 4, I just want to enjoy the Europa League. I want to go. I want to.
Yeah. No stress.
And we're in. And if we win it, it's a trophy, and we make top seeds. Like, I just want to go into it and feel like chilled and relaxed and whatever, and just enjoy that. You know, 1 game a week rather than 4 games a week, whatever it is we're playing at the minute. I think recently someone actually said to me earlier, commenting here, they were like, "Oh, you know, Ollie was meant to come in and improve the fitness, and we're looking dead." And I'm sitting there thinking, bruv, do you understand what's going on right now? It's unprecedented times. Like, Chelsea have lost games and looked tired in certain matches. Most other clubs outside of United, Leicester, Chelsea, and a few others, and the relegation sides are not playing for anything. So you can just relax and chill. Like, you've got physical exhaustion and mental exhaustion. And we're playing like United, I think, went for about a 15-day period where they played something in the region of like 6 games. It's mad. So, of course, they're going to be tired. Relax yourself on that. But, boys, everyone hit the like button, hit the share button as well. We'll be live in the morning at some point, no doubt whatsoever. But again, live watch along covering the games and then a live reaction show after the matches. Make sure you're all.
Anyhow, one of our teams don't make it into the top 4. It's gonna be peace.
If we don't make it, I might have to call up Tim Krul again. I might have to.
Wait, if you guys don't make it, Field Day FC.
No, but it depends how we don't make it. If it's like Kepa makes a howler again, oh my God.
Dave, it don't matter.
I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about it.
If Chelsea don't make it, smoke for you, man. If we don't make it, it's open season. It's like,
I actually think Man United don't make it tomorrow. I think my channel's going to do record numbers, you know. Record numbers, you know.
You've got to say that you were worse than Chelsea if you come below us as well.
Well, will.
And vice versa also. So
yeah, I will. But boys, listen, everyone who's tuning in, thank you. Hit the like button, share button, retweet buttons, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night. God bless. See you in a bit.